Hi, this is going to be the reading for the air signs for that second week of January 2023. The deck that I'm using is the Tree of Life Oracle by Guy Lasser and Cherry Gilchrist. Now what I've done is I've pulled three cards. I pulled one for the past, one for the present, and one for the future. Now, the past will be anything before the second week of January 2023. The present will be for the week of the second week of January 2023. And the future will be for anything after that second week, so the third or the fourth week of January 2023. Okay, and we're going to move on with this reading. So the first card that I pulled, I've had this card show up a few times in the readings for all the signs, okay? I think it came up for the earth signs, and I believe even for the water signs, but here it is now for the air signs, and that is casualty. Now, I did speak about casualty and the fact that casualty is when something has to leave your life, okay? And so it talks about in the past that you had to deal with possibly a casualty where you had to examine why things were taking place in your life, or things that were taking place in your life. Perhaps someone had left your life, or a circumstance had left your life, or you had left a circumstance. Maybe you left a certain place where you lived, or maybe you left a group of friends, or maybe you left a course of study, or maybe you left an addiction, okay? But something brought about change in your life. And so that's what this casualty card is talking about. It's talking about air signs that something has left your life and has moved you into the present time. Now, it says it's not enough for you just to keep going, okay? You need to examine how and why this circumstance came about and why you had to deal with it. And it gives you a chance to master it rather than being driven by it. Now, it talks about taking the time to reflect, creating a space where even if you're in the middle of activity, that you're focused on how you're moving forward, okay? You're not sequestering yourself. You're not staying in an old idea or an old regime of sorts, okay, where you're moving forward, where you've seen where you've been, what you've done in the past, and now you're wanting to move into the future, and how you're going to do that in a positive way. But it does say that it's time to shake off the past, shake off your old ideas and old situations, old circumstance, maybe even old friendships. You're needing to shake off the old to bring in the new. And I mean, we are in 2023, and it is that first month of the new year, okay? Now, just talk about an explanation which is going to reveal the truth of a situation or a circumstance, the root cause, okay? Something that happened in the past, you're examining why it happened and how it happened. Now, it does talk about a way forward. It talks about studying philosophy or spiritual matters. It talks about abstract design or calculation, forward planning, and the reason behind a decision. So air signs, perhaps you made this decision to move forward in your life. You made a decision to move away from a certain relationship or a certain course of study, or maybe even a certain way of being, okay? Maybe you've gained weight and you've decided that, you know what, I want my life to be different. I want to be healthy. I want to be smarter. Maybe you're going to take a course of study that's going to teach you something that's going to move you forward. I want to be richer. Maybe you're going to change one job for another job, okay? A job that pays you more money, or maybe where you're respected more. Maybe you're going to leave a relationship where you weren't respected, where your rights weren't respected. Maybe your rights were violated in some way. And so you're looking at the root cause of why you feel this type of energy where you want to move forward. You want things to change in your life, okay? Now, it's also, I can kind of see it in the cards, and it's the same type of story that I think I got for the earth signs, where something needed to change in their life. And so there was this big buildup of tension. And so you're starting to feel this. You're seeing that this took place in the past. You're feeling this energy, almost like a expecting type of energy. You're expecting something to come to fruition. You're expecting something to explode, something to come into your life in a new way. Maybe something's going to happen very unexpectedly that you hadn't planned for. And maybe that is what's going to bring you into the present moment. Because the present moment is card 4, the locksmith. And once again, this also was in a couple of the readings for the other signs. I think it might even have been the water signs, okay? A locksmith, where something had been locked up. And so you're having to move forward, move through that locked door. You're trying to find a sense of freedom, okay? And that, I'm seeing where this is going, but it doesn't read right. Because you see casualty and then you see locksmith. And so you kind of think, okay, maybe locksmith, right? And I would show you the third card, but I will show it to you in the end, where it's kind of telling a story that maybe there was something in the past that was holding you back, and you were being protected, maybe overprotected. I believe it was in it might have been the earth signs. It might have been the earth signs. The earth or the water signs were being protected, where they were being held back from learning by their mistakes. They were being sequestered from the real world. They were being protected from the real world. And perhaps it was kind of like a misguided sense of protection on someone that was kind of trying to hold them back from experiencing negative things in life. But they were basically overtaking your wants and your needs, okay? They were focused more on the fact that they were controlling you and they had this control, okay? And so that lock is being released. You're being able to move through that locked door, and you're starting to look at the new opportunities and the new experiences that are going to bring about learning in your life. And it's almost like perhaps there was one point in time where you weren't able to learn by your mistakes. You were protected from your own mistakes. And so you felt this sense of like helplessness, learned helplessness, where you can't make your own decisions. And so now you're being given that opportunity where that lock is being lifted or that rock is being taken off. And so you're feeling this sense of relief, and you're feeling this sense of like, wow, I can make my own choices now. I can try this. I can attempt to do this. And if I fail, I'll try something else, okay? And at one point you weren't able to. Now I'm seeing where this story is going, and it's also talking about caution, though. It's talking about checking your boundaries and your security measures, and perhaps even reaching out to a specialist to help you move past or to help you release that lock. Maybe you're having to contact someone to help you release the lock that has been placed on your life, okay? So it's also talking about something being locked that's going to be released. It could be your energy. It could be your exuberance for your own life. It could be opportunities and chances and adventures. So positive things are happening in the present time, which is that second week of January 2023, where opportunities are opening up for you. You're feeling this sense of freedom. But the last card that is for the future. Now, I could take this story a couple of ways, but I'm not going to take it a negative way. I'm going to take it a positive way. The card that I pulled for the future is number 2, the drunkard. Now, if you look at the cards, casualty, locksmith, and drunkard, it kind of makes you think, maybe there was an accident. Somebody was drunk. Somebody got in an accident. They're going to jail, okay? I'm not going to take it that way. That is one aspect that could be. It could be. I mean, it all depends. It's a general reading, right? But I'm going to take it in another way. So when you have been sequestered, when you have been held back, when you have been locked down, when you've been protected immensely from your life or from adventures or from making mistakes, okay, you never really learned how to make decisions. And so perhaps you're finding that, in the past, you weren't able to make simple decisions. And so you always asked someone to make a decision for you. You couldn't make up your mind if you were doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And so you would ask for advice from people that were only focused on their own needs and their own wants. And they weren't focused on what was going to help you grow, okay, as an individual. Now, the drunkard can talk about perhaps with all those locks being lifted, okay, you get that sense of like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and there's so much good. There's so many opportunities, so much excitement, so many adventures that maybe you're overwhelmed by all the decisions, and maybe you're trying a whole bunch of things. and realize that's just part of life. That's part of learning. That's part of growing. Okay. But you can also become a drunkard. You can also try so many things that it over exhausts you. It takes away from the positivity of a new opportunity, a new adventure, a new relationship, a new circumstance, a new course of study, a new whatever it may be, job, relationship. Okay. So the drunkard talks about taking note of your flow of energy and how exuberant you feel, but being aware of being overly exuberant, getting involved in too many things, putting your hand in too many pies, okay? It does talk about being caught up in a whirlwind that's going round and round to no good effect. It's just confusing you all the more, not being able to focus, not knowing what you should or shouldn't do. So being overwhelmed by all the possibilities and all the opportunities and all the positive things that you can, if you want, bring into your life. Now it talks about how can you channel it better. Check your outpourings of feelings and responses. Are they useful? Are they moving you forward in a positive way? And it says you're the only one that can truly answer that. You're the only one that can make the necessary changes to bring into your life good experiences, experiences that are going to help you grow as an individual. Now, it also says that perhaps in the future there might be a wasteful output where you're going to get involved in something that you really have no interest in, but you just wanted to try it, okay? And it also says there might be someone in your life who's not to be trusted. It talks about getting rid of negative people, negative circumstances, negative situations, negative experiences, getting rid of people that are perhaps pulling you down the wrong road because they want you to experience something. So it would just be like, being held back from trying, which of us haven't tried a cigarette behind the barn? You know what I'm saying? And I did, and I smoked for 40 years, and I finally quit. I have not smoked for 10 years. So this is what I'm talking about. Maybe there's a group of friends that you have that is saying, oh, come on, give this a shot. Give this a try. It'll make you feel better, right? And because of that experience that you had where you were really protected from those circumstances or those situations or those individuals, maybe you're kind of thinking, just give it one little shot. But you know what? Sometimes one little try will hook you. And that could be in many things. That could be with cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, methamphetamines. It could be prescription drugs. It could be anything. It could be sexual relationships. It could be gambling. It could be many, many things, okay? So it talks about being very careful about what you're allowing yourself to experience in the future. It talks about repeating patterns, so possibly relationships, possibly circumstances where it wasn't helping you thrive. So maybe you're getting into a relationship where it's the same old, where you're being overly guarded, where you're being pulled away from people, where you're being isolated, and you can't allow this to happen. Okay? Now, my air signs, it talks about although it's a repeating pattern, perhaps you're getting involved in a relationship that is giving you a semblance of that, you can't do this, you can't do that, okay? And it's talking about you're the only one with the strength to put a stop on it, to put a kibosh on it now before it even gets developed further, okay? And this is the future card. So this is the future, that possibly in the future you're going to meet someone who's going to try to control you. And you have to be strong. You have to be strong. And it does talk about a relationship, possibly a relationship from the past that is coming back into your life, or a relationship in the future that's coming in that is going to bring a semblance of a relationship from the past, or similar traits of a relationship from the past where you were overly protected or isolated. Now, it does talk about an excessive reaction, whether it be on your part, whether you're saying, okay, you're not going to control me. Nobody's going to control me. And you really mean it, and you go overboard, okay? Overboard, that no one's going to control you, okay? And sometimes you have to have control yourself, okay? So it's talking about that. It's talking about an emotional storm with possibly someone from your past, and that reaction from them or maybe from you, an emotional storm that's going to pass. You're going to come to peace with it, okay? You're going to say your piece. You're going to move forward in a positive way. You're releasing those negative energies, those negative relationships, those negative reactions, and those negative patterns that possibly were developed at an early age. Okay, so you're starting to release negative patterns, and it talks about releasing those negative patterns with the help of an advisor or perhaps even a professional. Maybe you're going to get involved in some type of therapy that is going to bring a balance in your life. Okay, that's what it's talking about. And indeed, as you're moving into and out of the month of January 2023, I hope that indeed you find your inner strength and you're able to move forward in a positive way, in a strong way, with a smile on your face and a skip in your step. So I shall see you in February. Namaste. Bye.